Okay, so my lecture application is on cultural awareness. And so I went to the local Indian restaurant on Cimarron Boulevard known as Mogul. And I waited until after work for a couple of the workers to get off to see if I could ask them a few questions. Preferably to meet some of the actual legitimate Indians, maybe worshiping Hinduism. Um, at least that's what I believed. I thought that every Indian in there probably was, stereotypically Hindu or maybe an Indian Christian, but unlikely. So after sitting and talking to a couple of the workers, I found out that I was wrong. First off, there was a lot of people that were not from India at all. Many of them were born here and raised here. Many of them were Christians and atheist or agnostic or, just a wide variety of beliefs. And that many of them didn't practice the culture, it really just kind of blows my mind to see that, we all make jokes just like we do with Arabs. People of Arabian descent, we all think are Muslim. We all think they're terrorists. Or at least where I'm from, that's what we all thought. We thought that the people that ran the only Arab-owned gas station in Heber Springs was, they were terrorists that were trying to, spy on Heber. It was an irrational belief. It was just something that we started circulating for the fun of it. And it was just because of their funny accents. It's really hard for me to continue talking on it because it's kind of was just shot short. I learned a little bit about culture behind the foods and learned a little bit about the owners. Nothing special. They grew up around here. They were originally from India, but they moved here very young. What else is there really to say? Except that I don't think that we should base anything off of a predisposed thought. We should not judge anyone based on how they look, how they dress, and how they act. My parents recently hired a woman who was raised in the area of Heber Springs, Arkansas, born and raised, who met and fell in love with a Syrian man. Flew to Syria to have the wedding and everything. She's a Muslim, a practicing Muslim, to the point where she wears the, I can't remember what they call them. She wears it to work every day. And she gets funny looks because she's a white woman dressed like a Muslim. And I thought that they were, not to be associated with. That they were very, shady people. But then I talked to her, and I met her husband, and he brought over a bunch of food, hummus and pickles and those grape tomatoes and homemade pita bread and some other dishes that had some sort of amazing hot sauce on it, and that really led me to believe that I couldn't judge anyone based on how they look, and how they act, how they dress. And that leads me to believe that we all should think that way, that we all should strictly base our opinions of people on who they are individually. That we need to sit down and talk to someone that we think we should have some stigma about, and then make that judgment ourselves. And then not go spreading rumors about them if we didn't like them, but instead telling other people to go and make their own opinions. I mean, before I came down here, I never really had any black friends growing up either. And here I am in Winter Park, Florida, and most of my friends that I know down here are black. Most of the guys that I've hung out with are black. Coming from a redneck town in Arkansas, you don't get that. So it's really opened my eyes to this experience. Thank you. And I really hope that this relays my experience to anyone who watches this. I'm actually going to leave this as an open link on YouTube just because I think that everyone has the right to see this. Comment your experiences. Give me a cultural experience that you've had, whether it's recently or in the past, that completely changed your outlook on someone or something. Maybe you went to a Buddhist temple. Maybe you're like me, who didn't get along with rednecks and went to a country concert with your friends just to see what it was like, to open your mind. What I'm saying is, if the whole population of the planet were to look at life in this perspective, I think that greater things could be achieved than we ever imagined. Thank you for your time, and look forward to hearing what you guys have to say.